when people see Clifton United Methodist Church, they see this big old building and they might think that it's just a typical church, but I think it's different. I think it's a more loving and more fair and in some ways more Christian place.
I feel at home here. I guess church means home.
So loving and accepting and non-judgmental. I feel at home here.
Because everybody's welcome, no matter what you look like or what you say. You can be who you are at this church.
You can feel the acceptance around in here.
Everybody knows each other. Everybody, you don't show up for a while and people are calling you, not because they think you should go to church, but they want to make sure you're all right.
Just people talked to us and got to know us, and it was like, I think that sold us.
We're here for everyone is welcome. All of those messages are things I remember from when I was small, and I've missed them.
My partner Kathy grew up Methodist. I think it's really important to share the spiritual journey, and it's nice to be able to hold hands and be honest about the relationship we're in.
For several years before I came here, I was looking for a church, but several churches weren't very inclusive. Been burned before on certain churches that said they were welcoming and then they weren't really. But I did attend an Easter service here, and I've been coming here ever since. I felt very like a part of something.
As long as you live with Jim, David, there won't be another appointment for you in the West Ohio United Methodist Church. When I heard those words from my district superintendent, I was angrier at the United Methodist Church and its representatives than I have ever been. And I came here to Clifton United Methodist Church in 1993 in order to heal. And alongside so many of you, I did.
Hi, this is Heather Rogers, and along with Ben King, I'm really pleased to announce that the excitement of Clifton UMC is moving into a new place with our Inside Out Capital campaign for the summer of 2016.
The social justice component of Clifton is really important to me.
I was looking for a church that was active within the community instead of just a place to go on Sunday.
It's about people that we empower, and I think that this church does a really good job of that.
Our greatest work is not the work we do inside these walls for worship or for study. The greatest work is when we take it out in our own lives and live it in our workplace, our school, places that we hang out with friends and family.
One of the things that I do at church is a prayer shawl ministry. But as I have sat at ball games or doctor's offices or wherever, and I've worked on my crocheting, people ask me, what are you working on? And it's just a more organic way of sharing what we do with church and how we share love with other people.
So as that healing took hold of me, it also motivated me to give to the work of Christ through this congregation. Little did I know how much more was being accomplished with my gifts, how far-reaching my gifts would be for others, far beyond me and far beyond us.
We were making our way to the Pride Parade and looking for the float, and I remembered seeing a new coworker. She was wearing a church shirt, Clifton United Methodist Church shirt, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I'm not going to work next to one of these crazy evangelical people. And so I saw that they had these wristbands, Clifton United Methodist Church, and we noticed, we started looking at the wristband and it said, "We stand for love." And I thought, wait a minute, they're not here protesting their parade. They're here in love, and they're here in a place of community.
Pride is really special to me because it was 2 years ago that I met the church through Pride, being a witness at the parade.
Clifton United Methodist Church took those gifts and created authentic human community and reached out to people who were poor, oppressed, and marginalized. Suddenly a place was created for queer families who met here to put their lives together and add children to them, and to know that their children would have a safe and nurturing community here. For college students, young adults, and weary United Methodist clergy who'd been battered and beaten up by churches elsewhere. For recovering addicts who could not find a church where they could be real and genuine about their struggles and challenges. For social justice advocates and intelligent scientists, and the unchurched and the de-churched of the world found on our softball team and at Church Beyond the Walls and in parades and activities out in the community, that there just might be a relevant place called church for them. That's what happened to those gifts when they were transformed. And it transformed me as well. From the inside out, the gifts became ministry. And for me, from the inside out, I began to see the new possibilities of all our gifts when shared at Clifton United Methodist Church.
When we began coming to Clifton, there were only about 3 or 4 other families that had kids in the church. Now there are dozens, and it's one of the most vital aspects, I think, of the church ministry.
It's an amazing place for my family. It's exciting to me that there are more young people coming and more children coming.
I am excited that the children's program is taking off again. I feel that if a church has their young people involved, that the church will go on.
Pastor David offered us a chance to go to a march and around the area where Sam DuBose was shot. It was a crazy vibe, but it was also a vibe of peace. It wasn't in any way, shape, or form something where people were wanting to get arrested or wanting to hurt anybody. It became much more of a personal thing.
My first time coming to Clifton, I remember that everybody was welcoming. We had a children's service, and I went up there and they introduced us. Everybody was really welcoming, and I felt happy, and I wasn't lonely.
I like that everyone's so welcoming, you get a new friend just by talking to someone.
They are surrounded by a group of people that are encouraging, and the teachers here are really letting them explore their faith, not necessarily teaching them from the top down, but telling them stories and letting them see how that story fits their everyday life.
The acceptance of everyone, whoever you are, is just right.
It has been nothing short of amazing. And yet, I need to remind you and myself in this moment that we are limited in our reach. And the limitations of our reach out into the community and to love our neighbors is solely related to the capacities of this building. Our building limits our outreach. We need to maximize this building's capacity in order to reach as many people as we can. And so the time has come when we need to give differently. It's time for us to make an investment in Clifton United Methodist Church for the future, as a legacy for this idea of taking the inside capacity of God out into the world.
We love everyone, and this congregation has seen a huge, vast variety of people move through it and discover God's love.
You can feel the movement and the energy and the changing, and showing the world what it means to be a follower of Christ, and being able to live that and be in that community that's doing that. If we don't do it, who will?
It helps face the 21st century. We're a church that offers kind of a broader view of where God is in all this.
I was taught early on to always pay myself out of my own paycheck, which is put some money in a savings account for the future. And I learned to invest in my retirement. And we need to make a similar kind of investment in Clifton United Methodist Church at this time. Here's how I'm thinking about making that investment myself. I want to increase my investment into the savings, the capital projects that will make this building match the capacity of the congregation inside it and the grace of God at work in it to reach out into the world. And so I'm going to designate out of every paycheck an additional $50 that will go into this capital campaign, or $1,200 a year, if I did my math right, and $3,600 over a 3-year period. That's not a lot each week, but it's huge investment toward the future of this congregation, this building, and this inside-out campaign. In fact, if I were to measure what it really means for me, It means I'm going to have to make my own coffee in the morning instead of buying it from Starbucks. And it means I'm going to have to iron my own shirts instead of paying somebody else to do that. It's well worth the changes that I'm going to make. So I invite you to think about how you're going to invest, how you're going to put money into the savings account, which is the church of the future for you, for your children, for the people of the world who still do not know the power of God's love in their life. It is a small investment with a huge return. And I hope you'll make that investment with me.
When we say all are welcome here, we mean all are welcome here.
Everyone is affirmed. There's not going to be a point where someone sits you down and says, no, not you.
And it is unlike other churches that I have been to.
There's a place at Clifton for everyone, and we do so much great work outside the walls of the church.
I'm fairly certain I know what the outcome of this campaign is going to be. It's going to be a people and a place that are here for all people. It means that we're going to take God's love from the inside out. It means we're going to take the bold, courageous action on the inside out. It means we're going to take the call of justice from the inside out. It means we're going to take the mercy of Christ from the inside out. It means we're going to be the church in the very best sense of what it means to be church. And I want you to know that I want to see you in church. I hope you will give to this campaign because we will be church together.